Hi, I'm Miss Logesh. I teach further mathematics in the Cambridge A-level program at Taylor's College, in particular the applied mathematics. So I cover subjects like statistics and mechanics. Been teaching for 25 plus years across three different programs. Started off with the American degree program for 7 years, was teaching subjects like finite mathematics, calculus and analytical geometry, differential equations, statistics, college algebra, pre-calculus, calculus for business, and then went on to the South Australian Matriculation Program, or SACE. I was teaching specialist maths there for another 7 years, and currently I'm teaching in the Cambridge A-level program at Taylor's, uh, doing further mathematics. Um, my background, I have a Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics from University of Science Malaysia, and a Diploma in Education, as well as a Master's in Mathematics Education. Why did I choose Master's in Mathematics Education? I was very concerned with the way people were learning maths. Basically, in my experience of teaching, I found that um, the students that I was teaching, I could see that some of them were struggling so much with mathematics. Some of them, although they don't struggle, they miss the point. They do well in their maths subjects, in the exams they do well, but they don't really understand what they learned. So I was very curious about how I could ensure, or how I could help the students learn better. So that's the reason why I did a master's in this area. So uh, why do I teach maths? Why maths? Why not any other subject? Well, I like maths. It's a subject that, to me, the greatest takeaway about it is the way to think, the higher order thinking skills, the reasoning skills. It really makes you sharpen your mind. You take something complicated, you need to break it down. You need to know what questions to ask. You need to know um, how to break it down, and you always have to understand what you're doing. You don't just accept what is given to you. You ask why you do what you do. So like formulas, you need to understand why they are such. How did they become that expression? What is the derivation? How does it work? So mathematics is, to me, a subject which really makes you think. It forces, it makes you understand. You need to understand. That's the key. So if that's how I see maths, then that's how I teach maths. The whole focus of my teaching is on getting the students to understand the formulas, getting the students to understand the procedure, why they do what they do, why does it work that way. So it's a very important skill, even if you're not going to pursue it as a major, or you're not going to do engineering or any technical field. Even if you do any other field, it's a core requirement, simply because of the critical thinking skills that it imparts on a student. So it's a very, very important subject. um, so to me, uh, it's a necessary skill, especially in today's world. um, okay, so that tells you why I teach maths. Now the next thing is, how do I get students to understand? Well, technology. Really, technology is so fantastic these days. I use tools like MindMeister. It's an online mind mapping tool where the students can attach a file or a URL or image to that mind map, and they can break it down to as many ideas as they want. They can make it as intricate as they want, and they can collapse all the unwanted details if they just want to see the general linkage between concepts. So it's a very flexible thing when you do it online, and I allow students to do it as a group. So I get them to brainstorm on this map online. So the whole learning process there is quite rich. The other thing is also using tools like Go Formative, where I get students to annotate on a whiteboard. Each student has a whiteboard, and the view of all those whiteboards are on my screen. So If I give a mathematical question and they are going to solve it, I get to see their process of thinking. Okay, so they need to write on that whiteboard, and I get to see it at the same time, so I can like zoom in on one whiteboard and I can tell them, look, this is the way you're thinking is not entirely correct. This is where you need to correct yourself, or your diagram is lacking in something. So I get to see how they think. That's the beauty of it. Other than that, I also use simulations, online simulations, to show how, let's say, the shape of a graph is affected by the change in certain variables, or if you have an object that is interacting with another object, and you're teaching mechanics, for example, I get to show them what are the forces acting on the two objects, how does friction act, how does it behave, because everything is put, simulated for them, so they can see how these things are moving and how the values of the forces change as these things move, what the acceleration at a given time. So all this is made very concrete because there's a visual right in front of them to show how the forces interact. So that's how I use technology. The whole point is to make abstract ideas concrete. Yep, so that's basically what I'd like to share with you. But I really hope you consider TALOS, in particular the Cambridge A-Level program, and it'd be great if I can see you in my class. As I said, my passion is to teach maths, and particularly to get students to understand maths. But do note this though, even if you struggle with mathematics, right, it's very normal and it's good. Struggling is good because then you are trying to understand something and you won't give up if you know that at the end of the day your goal is to understand it no matter what comes. So then you find ways to understand it. So that struggle, that process of thinking will help you ask questions. You yourself are questioning your understanding at every level of your understanding. So that struggle to find the answers, you go on the internet, you go refer to lecturers, you open up books. All this is important because it's the whole process of solving a problem. So when you unravel these complex ideas by opening up various resources, you are going to, your whole learning itself is evolving. The process of understanding that concept itself is evolving. So you'll be surprised how much you can understand and to what level you understand at the end of this exploration that you go through. So please, if you think struggling, you're weak and that's not a good sign in your learning, that's totally misled. That's totally misled. You should struggle. It's good. But you should know when to ask for help. And you should ask the right questions as you are struggling so that you can direct you can self-direct your learning into to where you want to go. You don't get caught in all that struggle and get nowhere. So that's where the lecturer comes in, your peers come in, your collaboration between peers come in. So it's a very rich learning experience. And I think the process is more important sometimes than the end result, because when you have gained that process of thinking, right, and that and you have taken the trouble to understand something, right, that culture of learning is what we want at the end of the day, because you're going to go out there, you're going to solve problems. If you want to be someone in your field, you have to be an innovator. You have to have a very enterprising attitude. You have to be willing to try things. You have to be willing to come up with good ideas, brainstorm in a group. So the willingness to be active in the learning, that is important. So that whole experience you will gain in TALOS. Yeah, because we take learning very seriously. It's not just about getting a bunch of A's. It's the process of getting there as well. So I hope to see you in TALOS. I hope to see you in Cambridge A-Level program. And if you're passionate about mathematics and you really want to take the trouble to understand complex ideas, please step in to do further maths as well. So hope to see you, and that's it from me. So take care. Bye.